Good morning and happy Monday to all of you. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. It is March 21st. I cannot believe it. We've almost completed a full quarter for 2022. And I'm hoping that this past almost, full quarter that you've started making those changes in your life that you want to see, be the change in the world that you want to see. What does that look like? Have you decided? Have you started making some changes? Have you started taking action? Have you started planning it out, mapping it out, what that looks like? What does that look like for you in the longer scheme of things, the bigger scheme of things? Yeah, it's a lot, right? And it's scary. So, what does decide even mean? Per the dictionary, there's three different things that they've written in here on what the word decide means. So it could be come to a resolution in the mind as a result of consideration, right? So you're considering something, you decided on something to do, or cause to come to a resolution, about maybe something is going to benefit me, and so I'm going to decide on that path. Or even to make a choice from a number of alternatives, having choices, like seeing what the bigger picture is. What are all those things that you might have? What's in alignment with your life right now? Because I truly believe that when you take action, any type of action at all, you want to take it from a place where it's in alignment with how you feel about it, where you are in life. Does it light you up? Are you going to stay at it? Or is it something that is kind of like, how they talk about fads? So is it a fad thought, or is it something that you really, truly want? And I truly believe that when you come from that place and you understand that making these decisions for yourself is going to be in a place where you will actually create action steps that will inspire you to really lean into and do. So, and that is what I wanted to talk to you, because number one, the first thing I think a lot of people get hung up on is when there's their whole life ahead of them, or they say that let's just talk about until the end of 2022. So, as I said, we're almost completed a quarter, so there's like 9 months left in the year, 9 full months, and you're looking at it thinking, what do I really want my life to look like? What do I want to do with my life? And yet, when you decide on something, or you think it's something that you want to do, you get hung up on all the how steps, right? Like, how do I make this happen? What is that even going to look like, right? And that's where people get stuck and they stop and they don't decide, they don't take any action, or it keeps mulling around in their head and they keep coming back to it and they start beating themselves up for it. Then they start down these other paths of, well, it's got to be perfect. They get into that perfectionist mode and they start looking at ways to make things look like a specific way, like it fits into this package, right? And so instead of taking that inspired action, instead of really like saying, yeah, this is what I want to do, they start looking at all the, oh, well, okay, so how is that going to look? How do I do it? What's that going to look like? Will it work? Will I succeed? Will I fail? Will I make mistakes? Will people laugh at me? Will people judge me? All of these questions, when the first thing all you need to do, literally, all you need to do in order to start leaning into a life that you want to live, doing the things that in life that inspire you, that light you up, is to decide. Literally, that's it. You make the decision that this is what I have decided I want for my life. When you do that first piece, that is when you can say, okay, I've decided this is what I want. This is the thing, this is the life path I want to take, this is the passion project, or this is the business I want to start. I've decided this is what I want. And I know it sounds like you're going, that just sounds too easy, because you start going in the back of your head, like all of those questions, right? I know what that feels like because I've been there a million times before, where I've allowed myself to make a decision around something, but then I revert to this place where I call it our silent space, where the secret words are mulling around in this bubble in our head. The words we're afraid to say out loud because it's when we make these decisions, it can be really scary. It's scary to make a decision, to change paths, to pivot. And those words that mull around in that secret space, that silent space, can be triggered when you are making a new decision to do something different. And that's okay. Those secret words, say them out loud, get them out of your head. And when you can look at them and say, this doesn't have to be my truth because I've decided I want this. It lights me up. This is why. And I'm willing to take a chance on me and flesh it all out to see what the possibility of that could look like. So the first step is just to decide what you want. And then you start looking at what you've already got like around it. Meaning, so you decided, as an example, you work you're a full-time corporate employee, and you want to actually start looking at possible ways of moving outside of that corporate environment into doing something that you truly love, that lights you up. And you know what that thing is because it's been going around in your brain forever, like it seems, right? And so when you look at that, you start thinking, okay, this is what I want. I've decided. I don't know all the house steps, and that's okay. I don't know what it's going to look like, and that's okay. I don't know if I'm going to make mistakes, if I'm going to fail, and that's okay. Because failure is really just learning about what is working, what's not working, what can I look at this bigger picture of like, what's working, why is that piece working and this not, and getting really resourceful on figuring that out. Again, when you decide, then you start, all of the house pieces start falling into place, the puzzle pieces. And yes, you'll be switching those puzzle pieces out. They won't stay the same, but that's okay. That's the beauty of life. It's your life. I call it writing your story or rewriting your story. I work with my clients around that because it is about writing your story. In fact, you've been writing your story since the moment you took your first breath when you were born, because you started looking around and you started seeing the possibilities, like, ooh, right? And as a kid, you started exploring. You know, I have a friend of mine who's got an almost 2-year-old, and it's so curious about everything. He's in the kitchen, he's in the pantry, he's crawling on things, he's crawling up onto chairs, he's getting down off the chairs, he's going under like the dining room table, and he's making these areas of his own, thinking that he's like on a quest, on a mission, right? But he's writing a story. He's getting into his life and figuring it out. And he goes and he looks at things in a way that we can't understand because we were once children, but those moments are lost to us most of the time because life starts to happen and we start to forget the moments that we did take time to really dream. Because as a child, we would dream and we would dream big. Now, if you're a mom or a dad, you know what it's like when your kids say something to you and you're like, what are you talking about? But it's so fantastic and their eyes are lit up and they're so excited about it. And they're creating this life that we don't even know what the possibilities and what that's going to look like when they get older. But you have an opportunity today. If you have kids right now that are talking to you like that and they're dreaming big and they're saying they want these huge things, what I would suggest is really like going through these desires, these visions that your kids have, and flesh it out with them. Get them into the inspired mindset of like what life could look like for them in their future as they go through life, as they grow up. And allowing them to learn to trust their intuitions and trust their instincts and to actually think outside the box and stretch their edges and make decisions for their lives and become resourceful around that. And that's what I want for you to be able to, if you're stuck in this moment and you're thinking, you know, almost a quarter's gone by and I still don't know, or I still haven't taken action on that thing that I really truly want, don't beat yourself up for it, okay? Because it can be super easy. By the way, I live on a little bit of a busy street, so it can be super easy to get in our head and allow those negative thoughts that are in that secret space, a secret world, the secret words that we have in our silent space in our head that a lot of time go unspoken, but just because you don't speak them out loud doesn't mean that you're not thinking them, okay? So I just want you to understand that. So being able to say, you know what, I do want something for my life. What does that look like? Start fleshing out your dreams. Start writing it all out. Figure that out. And then when you've made a decision on the one thing that really lights you up right now, then start looking at what does that look like in the bigger scheme of my life? Is it in alignment with really what I want? Do I really want that? Okay, what can I do to start taking action today? Like what does that look like in the future of me actually achieving this thing? And you start looking around at what other people are doing. You can get inspired by other people. Other people can inspire you to actually start looking outside of the box, stretching your edges, asking questions, talking it out, having those people in your life that really are amazing and they light you up and they have your back, saying these things out loud, talking it out loud, talking it through with someone, saying, this is what my vision, I think is. I've decided. So now I want to start fleshing it out, seeing what those possibilities are. And the third thing is that I'm going to leave with you today is reading through those things, whatever that vision is and what you fleshed out. I want you to start reading through to, get really comfortable with looking at it and figuring out the pieces that you can start working on. Start really reading that out a few times a day, even if it's only like if it's in the morning, read it out loud or just read it. Read what it is that you want and start asking yourself some questions. Inspire yourself to ask the questions. If this is what I want, what can I do today? That's one step that I can take to get me closer to achieving that. And if it's 2 questions or 3 questions, figuring that out, then that helps you to motivate you to write it out, a plan. Okay, what does that look like? And how can I take inspired action on that plan? Scheduling it out your week. And that's how I work with my clients. And I know this is a lot of information, but that's really it. Simple. Decide what you want. Then you get curious about what that looks like and write it all out. And then that gives you an idea of like, this is what I see. Now, how can I plan that out? And how can I structure that within my week? And that's the things that you can do to help you for the next 9 months to complete 2022. And that's it. Simple as that. So I hope that this landed well. I want you to start thinking about this week, how you can make this week a better week for you than it has been, maybe a more intentional week. Being more intentional around how you show up in your week, about the things that you do, about the things that you say, taking inspired action, looking at each day as a gift that you get to unwrap and explore, and you get to design how you show up every day, because every day is a gift. When you think about it, what is this right now? It's the present moment in time that you are watching this video, but it's present. Present is the first word. That's why I call it the day is a gift. So if you can look at it that way and start looking at, okay, I have the gift of today to decide what I want, to start looking at the bigger picture and start mapping out a life that I truly want to be able to look back on over time and be able to say, you know what, I lived my life. I love this life I'm living, and I lived it because I allowed myself to show up even when I was scared, even when I didn't know all of the hows, but I decided, I made decisions based on them being in alignment with really felt good to me to do. And I started mapping it out and started taking inspired action every day. And that's all it is, moving one step at a time. Even if it's only one thing that you complete today, I want you to celebrate it, because that means that you are in the movement. You are doing something. You're not just sitting still. You're not just staying stagnant. You're not just keeping yourself stuck, but you're actually allowing yourself to really dream again, right? What the possibilities for your life could be. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you guys have a fabulous Monday. And I hope that you know that you are worthy and deserving of rewriting your story, because you've been writing it since you took your first breath, and you've been writing it your entire life. and you can rewrite your story as many times as you like by making those decisions in alignment to growth, to something bigger, something better, something more inspirational, changing the world to make it a better place. Whatever that looks like for you, you can do this because you've been doing it your whole life. And remember, if you can't quite remember what that looked like, if you've got children in your life, watch a child as they look at things with wonder, as they dream. Ask them some questions like, what's your bigger vision for your life? And it's amazing because kids will say the most big, most fantastical thing that we somehow, as we've gotten older, have forgotten that it's okay to do that, that it's okay to daydream, that it's okay to dream big, and that it's okay to make decisions and change our life path to pivot. So that's it for today. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right attitude, it will help you to have a better mindset around those emotional trigger moments that show up that might derail you from making your decisions and taking inspired action. But when you are coming from a place of gratitude, when you can find the gratitude in your day, because you can find it, I promise you, you can find it in any area of your life. Even the things that aren't going so well, you can find the gratitude. It will help you make better decisions around those moments, and you're able to take back the power over the emotions that are managing you, stealing your time, and you will start using your time more effectively. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.